As we learned this Thursday night, we have a packed schedule tonight. I have just, for those that were with me, Nachman was with me, we just finished a chok. So we did a chok this evening, and it is being uploaded now onto YouTube and Anytime, and it was already put on Kol Lashon. That was B'Shalach, day 5, so that's available. We're going to have tonight, after the daf, we're going to do for the Shabbos table on Chayesara, and then after for the Shabbos table, then we're going to do the Mishnah Yomi. So we have a triple header tonight, and we are dedicated by Shimon Klein, Lila Nishmas Asher Anshel Ben Yehuda, Gittel Bas Shimon Pinchas, by Irving Fishbaum, for his gesund. Isser Ben Rezel should have a gesund surgery and be completely gesund, by A.B. Spry, having in mind for the safety of Klal Yisrael, especially for the safety and the victory of our brave soldiers, and especially we have in mind for the safety of Isser Zev Ben Yuta. We'll learn from my Shver, Avigdor Aya Ben Rivka, who's received some good news today. The scan looked pretty good. And we learned for my Einekala Yaled Ben Chava and Meir Ben Chayesara. They should have a Refuah Shalema, B'Seich Sheichel Yisrael. Also, our Chaver Adaf, Mo Kushner, who is in the hospital. So we learned from Moshe Yitzchak Halevi Ben Nechama. He should have a Refuah Shalema B'Seich Sheichel Yisrael. So we said that when Rabbi Kiva said that the Kol Shechein for Hektish, so we said that it meant, we also, Dr. Udell is asking if we could pray for his cousin who is in the Gaza. His name is Eliar Binyamin Ben Sarah Rachel. He should be safe and he should be victorious. We welcome in Rich Lenner, Aaron Swade, A.B. Spry, Baruch Ian, Shimon Klein, Berish Gesserman, Nachman Chapler, Irving Fishbaum, Stephen Holtzman, Eddie Chazan. This is a Zuckerman, this is somebody new. Welcome. Rabbi Kranz, Shelley Zeitlin, Dr. Guy, Dr. Block, Avi Ament, Menachem Yamansky, and Reb Gans, Naftali Jablin, Yitzi Muller, Abe Arbach, Dr. Udell, and David Helfgott on Kol Lashon. And here we have Moshe Lehman joining us right now. Here in Shul we have Saba, we have Reb Elia Yafi, Reb Krause, Reb Kramer, and Reb Gedalia Engel, who's being Isaac B'Tzachar Tzibur as he's working. So we said that when Rabbi Kiva says Kol Shechein by Hektish, that you pay for Meitav, so we said, what does that mean? The assumption is if your shar goes a shar shal hektish, you're potter, because the pasuk says shar re'eyu v'lo shar shal hektish. So the Gemara answered, it means that if Reb Elia says he's giving $1,000 to hektish, he has to give from Meitav. So the Gemara says that doesn't seem to make sense. Why does he have to give from Meitav? He owes $1,000 to hektish. Lo yehei ela bal chayv. So he's has a debt to hektish, and bal chayv bebeininus. Bal chayv pays beininus, and not the idios. V'chiteim, and maybe you'll say, Sab Rabbi Kiva, kol bal chayv nami beidios, that any creditor collects from idios, but still, ikalamifrach mala bal chayv shekain yafa kaychay ben nizaken. He is strong that if somebody damages him, he collects from Meitav. But hektish, when you damage him, you're potter. So even a bal chayv shouldn't be from Taimir b'hektish shehura kaycha b'nizaken. Right? Hektish, we said that if somebody damages hektish, it doesn't pay. So even bal chayv should not be from Meitav. Says the Gemara, no, we're going to switch it now. It's actually talking about the subject of damage. La'olam did not nagach tura didan l'tura dehektish. We welcome in Sandy Grunfeld. We welcome in Ruvain Pollack. We welcome in, not sure who that is, but says the Gemara. Mark Frankel let me know that he'll be working nights this week, so he's been listening to us. So we give a shout out to Mark Frankel, who's been watching, but he hasn't been able to be back on Motzei Shabbos. But anyway, it's talking about that Shelley's ox did damage an ox of Hegdish, but Rabbi Akiva holds to the contrary. That Shelley's ox gored an ox of Hegdish. No, it's fresh. My wife brought it to me. Or the kakashalach, and that which we had a question, Sharei Eyo Amachmana, that it's only the shar of your friend, V'loi shar shal Hegdish. Nah, Rabbi Kiva savalak Reb Shimon ben Manasseh. Rabbi Kiva holds like Reb Shimon ben Manasseh. The Tani Reb Shimon ben Manasseh, Aimer shar shal Hegdish and not shar shal Hedyid. If a shar of Hegdish gores Shelley's shar, potter. The temple has amnesty. Shar shal Hedyid, shenagach shar shal Hegdish. But if Shelley's shar gores a shar of the temples, we throw the book at him. Unlike a regular person that tam pays a chatzin nezek, but if it's a shar of hektish, bein tam bein muad misham nezek shalom. To the contrary, it tells us that a sharei who has a exemption that a tam only pays a chatzin nezek. But if Shelley shar gores a shar of hektish, even if it's a tam, it pays a nezek shalom. So the Gemara says, so maybe that's the whole machlokes between Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva. Iachi Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Akiva, Mamaida be'idias to nizik v'ziburis to mazik pligi, who says that they're arguing that Rabbi Yishmael says that we go basar the that we always go basar the idias of the victim, while Rabbi Akiva holds we go basar the idias of the mazik. Dilma de Kuli Alma, but in Izik Shaimina. It's determined by the idias of the victim. And they're arguing whether when you damage a shar of hektish, whether you pay or not. Rabbi Kiva suffered Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh, so therefore he holds that if you damage a shar of hektish, you pay from meitav. Rabbi Yishmael suffered Rabbanan, and Rabbi Yishmael holds like the Rabbanan, when you damage a shar of hektish your potter, says Gemara, im kain, if so, my loy ba hakasav. Rabbi Kiva says that the pasuk is only coming to tell you that you pay from the meitav of the mazik. So it seemed to be that they're arguing about the specifics of meitav. They're not arguing the oid, my kal v'chaim hektish. If they're only arguing about hektish, what did Rabbi Akiva mean kal v'chaim hektish? Which implies that he's arguing about something else also. The oid, Hamer Ravashi. Ravashi says Tanya behedya. We learned expressly meitav sadeo, meitav kama yishalem, that Rabbi Yishmael holds meitav sadeo shel nizik. It's the best of the field of the victim, or meitav kama shel nizik. Div Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Kiva says meitav sadeo shel mazik, or meitav kama shel mazik. It's the best field of the one who's doing the damage, and the best vineyard of the one who's doing the damage. So rather, like we explained, they're arguing in two things. They're arguing about this, and Rabbi Kiva holds, like Rabbi Shimon ben Manasseh, that if you gore shar of hektish, you're not exempt, but you pay a nezek shalom, regardless if it's a tam or if it's a muad. Now, Abaye and Rava, Abaye asks Rava a contradiction. Reb Shlomo, you're very welcome. Please, Reb Shlomo, remember Monday night, Rabbi say, Ma'av at 7:45. What am I saying? Monday night, Sunday night.
Yeah, you did say Monday night.
I said Monday night, so we're going to only start on Monday night.
Why are you starting Monday?
Because I announced it.
Oh, okay.
I made a mistake. I should have said Sunday. Sunday would have even been easier. But we're starting Monday because that's what I said. Monday night at 8:15. Sunday is not that important because Sunday people aren't working. Ramalei Abaya l'Rabba. Abaya asks the following contradiction to Rava. Ksiv, meitav sadeu, meitav karma, yishalem. From the best of the field and the best of the vineyard. Meitav in, midiachrin alai. You can pay from the best real estate, nothing else. But we have another, Vatani, we have a brayse, Yoshiv, that you restore, l'Rabba shava kesef, that you could pay with shava kesef, you could pay with bales of cotton. Va'afilu subin, you could pay even with bran. So which one is it? You have to give from the best of the field, from boardwalk and Park Place, or could you give bran? So the Gemara says, Lo kasha, and this is Rava gives a very interesting mahalach over here. Lo kasha, kan midaitoi kan bal karchi. If he pays willingly, Beresh's ox damaged, and Beresh, he's a nice guy, he's a fair-minded fellow, he pays willingly. So if he pays willingly, then he could pay even with bran. Kan bal karchi, but if Bezdin has to come and collect from him, then he has to pay for meitiv. Amar ula breid Rabbi Loi dekanami, and it's mashma that way. Dichsiv yishalem. It says meitiv sadeu, meitiv karma yishalem, which means bal karcha. Yishalem means that he's made to pay. So that implies against his will. Amar alei Abaya. Abaya says, well, that's not grammatically really accurate. Miksiv yeshulam. Yeshulam would mean that we make him pay. Yeshalem ksiv midata, on his own. Yeshalem ksiv midata mashma. And therefore, Abaya doesn't like Rava's approach. I have to tell you, Rava has a very easy approach here. Rava says, if you're paying on your own, you could pay even with paper clips. You could pay even with bran. If you are, Bezdin has to come and get it out of you, so then you have to pay from the best. But Abaya has an entirely different approach. Ela Amar Abaya kidamar. It really, you have to use the explanation of Mar. Mar, when Abaya says Mar, he's talking about his uncle who raised him, Rabba bar Nachmani. So he says kidamar, he's talking about Rabba. The Tanya, Hari shahoyu loy botim sadoi sukramim. Now we know there's a din of Meiser Ani, that in the 3rd and the 6th year, a poor person could get Meiser Ani. In order to be eligible for Meiser Ani, he cannot have 200 zuz. If he has 200 zuz, he's not eligible for Meiser Ani. If he has 199 zuz, so a person could give him at one time 1,000 zuz, as long as he's eligible. Right? So the Tanya, Hari shahoya loy batim sadoi sukramim. Let's say Ruvain has houses, fields, vineyards, and he's not able to sell them. So let's say the value of his house that he could sell, this besides his house, he has an investment house. The value of the house is 200, but he could only sell it for 160. So since he could only sell it for 160, we give him 40. So if he could sell it for 130, we give him 70. If he could sell it for 100, we give him 100. But never less than that, because we say that the house never goes to less than half its value. So the Gemara wonders, and basically the Gemara's kasha is going to be, if we view it, v'havei bamar, the master wondered, this is Rabbah, when we say kamar, the master wondered, heichi dami, id huzal ar asa de kule alma, if everyone's house went down in value, so now everyone's house is 140. V'didei nami zil b'adayu. So his is also 140. Remember we said if you have less than 200, you could take 1,000 zuz. So if his house is only worth 140, at one time he should be able to take even 1,000 zuz. Afilu tuva nami lislele. The hazul. The hazul, the kuli almanami. Everybody's went down to less than 200. Ella de okir arasa de kuli alma. Everyone's house is worth 200. That kind of house is worth 200. But because he's hot to sell it, people are only going to give him 140. Ella de okir arasa de kuli alma. The value of the house on the market is 200. V'didei, but his house, Aidi de ayo v'nasa kazuze, because he's desperate for money, zol are. So, but since the Gemara says, this is the way Rabbah learns, since the value is 200, so on paper he has assets of 200, then he shouldn't be able to take anything. Afilu personami loylis v'lei. We shouldn't give him anything. So listen to how Mar learns the case. It must be that in Nisan the land is worth 200. Tishrei, in Tishrei season, in the fall, Zolar Asa. Now he's in the fall. Now everybody waits till Nisan. The Kuli Alma Notre ad Nisan. Everybody waits until Nisan and sells it in Nisan when they could get 200. Umazavne. Vahai, and he, Hoyel v'itztrichale Zuze, since he can't wait, Zovin Kidahashta. He'll have to sell at 140. But since in reality it's something that on the market in Nisan is worth 200, we don't let him take 1,000 at one time. Rather, we only let him take up till what he has to sell it now, immediately. So if he has to sell it for 140, we give him 60. Zavin Kidash. So ad palga, up till half, urche lemezel. It's going to depreciate. Tfei, more than that, lav urche lemezel. It's not going to depreciate. Now, what does that have to do with our case over here, with whether you pay meitiv or you pay subin? The law is that Berish, who did the damage, has to pay with idios. However, Berish damaged Stephen. The Amalei Ihu, if Stephen tells Berish, don't give me the idios, because your Bainin's property is next to some of my other property. The Amalei Ihu, hovli Bainin's tfei person. So you have to give me idios because you damaged me. But I want the Baininus that's near me, so I want you to give me more Baininus. Amalei, so he tells him, look, you're only entitled to idios. I shaklis kedinei shakal kedashta. If you want to take like you're supposed to take, so take the value now. The Eloi shakel, and if you're not going to take like you're supposed to take, you're taking Baininus, so then we're going to calculate kiyukra lilakame. Then we're going to calculate like what it's going to be worth. Somebody asking me something? No, so what it's going to be worth later on in Nisan. So what the Gemara is learning now is that when we say Yoshiv l'Rabbi Suvin, if you want to take Subin, meaning if you want to take inferior land, which you're not supposed to get, you're supposed to get idios. If you want to take inferior land, then you're going to have to take it like it's inflated value coming in Nisan. Now the Gemara is going to say the logic doesn't make sense over here. Maskava Rav Acha bar Yaakov. Im kein hu rata koichen shel nizaken eitzel beinanis v'zibarius. You're telling me that the victim's rights are weakened if they take mediocre or inferior property. The Rachmana Amar Memeitiv. The Torah says for Meitiv, V'at Amrit, and you're saying Mebeinanis v'ziburius nami loy. You're not entitled to Beinanis and Ziburius. And if you take from Beinanis and Ziburius, we're going to cancel you. We're going to penalize you and make you get not according to the lower value now, but the more expensive value later. The Gemara says that doesn't make sense. El Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov, if you want to say such a svara, which by the way, the Gemara is going to also say doesn't make sense. El Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov, it's a case where Berish owes Stephen money. Bal Chayv Dina Rebbenis. He's supposed to pay Stephen with Bainis. V'i Amalei Hovli Ziburius Tfei Persa. So Stephen says, look, your inferior land is next to my land. Give me inferior land a little bit more. Amalei Berish will tell him, Ishaklis Kedinech, if you take Bainis Shkol Kedahashta, take it according to the cheaper value in the fall. V'ilai Shakol, if not, v'ilai, if you want to take the inferior, Shakol Kiyukla de Kamei. We have to assess it according to the higher value of Nisan. So again, the Gemara says that doesn't make sense. If you're going to penalize borrowers like Stephen, then they're not going to give loans. That doesn't make sense that we should again tell him that if he takes inferior property, it's going to be inflated. Because Stephen would say, if I had money, I would have got what I wanted according to today's rate. Because I loaned you, Berish, the money, I'm going to stuck to get the higher rate. Because I gave you the loan, you're going to evaluate according to the more inflated price later. That doesn't make sense. Oh, this makes sense. A woman is entitled to collect her ksuba only from ziburius. The ksubas isha dine beziburius. So let's say Spinzer got divorced from Chatzkel. So Spinzer got divorced from Chatzkel, and she wants to collect her ksuba. So she tells Chatzkel, instead of giving me the ziburius, I have your baininess is near my house, so give me your baininess and make it a little less. That's what she wants. Dog subas isha dine biziburius. V'i amrit le'ihi, Spinzer says to Chatzkel, Hovli baininess, give me a little better land because your intermediate land is near my house, and butts a person, make it a little less. Amalai says, no way. You want better, you're going to have to take it according to the higher price of Nisan. Amalai yishaklus kedinech shkol kadashta. If you want to take according to the din that you get ziburius, you could take like the rate now. The Eloi, but if not, shaklai kiyukr de l'kameh. You're going to have to pay the later rate. But the bottom line is this could be a good shot in Mar, but now it has nothing to do with our question. And we're back to the stira. Mikol Makam Kasha. It says, 1 second. It's a kasha, because it says Meitav Sadeo Meitav Karmai, which is mashmi, you pay for Meitav. And then the pasuk says Yoshiv, which says that you could pay even from Sylvan. So Amar Rava, so Rava says, Rava has a very simple answer. Kol diyov le mimetiv leisavle. Whatever you give, you have to give the best quality. If you're giving brand, you have to give the best quality of brand. If you're giving land, you have to give the best quality of land. Says where it doesn't say that in the pasuk. V'ameitiv sadeu ksiv. It says the best of the field. Ela ki also Rav Papa v'Ravuna b'Rei Rabbi Yeshua mebei Rav. Pirshua, they explain, if it's movables you could always get money for. If you don't get it here, then you'll get it in the next town. But karka you can't move. And therefore that has to be memetiv. Let's see it inside. Ki also Rav Papa v'Ravuna b'Rei Rabbi Yeshua from the Academy of Rav Pirshua. Kol milei meitifu. Everything is quality. De'iloi mizdaven hacha, because if you won't be able to move it here, mizdaven mamas achriti, you'll be able to move it somewhere else. Levar ma'ara, but land, you can't move. So delay siblei memetiv, so you have to give memetiv, ki heichi delikpetz ala zvina, in order that buyers should jump for it. Yes.
Where a person is entitled to meitav, to idis, and he's asking for a different piece of land because it's closer. It sounds like Midas Adayim, that the Mazik is able to say, hey, listen, pal, you get idis, and if you don't want idis, I'm gonna make things difficult for you.
He's not allowed to. That's what the Gemara said. You're right. You're learning the kasha.
But he's only not allowed to because either the Alta Delis Bifnei Lovin, but not for that. And when it comes to the Ksubas Isha, she has nothing to say. What about Pashut Menschlichkeit?
Well, it's not Menschlichkeit. I like this land better. I want this land.
The woman says that, right?
No, the owner says it.
I don't want to part with it.
Yeah, I don't want to part with it. I like this land. I like this location.
Even though it's inferior.
Yeah, but it's inferior quality. But I like this location. That's not Midas Daim. Midas Daim is if there's absolutely nothing that you could do with it. Now, Boy minei Rav Shmuel bar Abba me'akrunya me'Reb Abba. Rav Shmuel bar Abba from Akrunya asked Rabbi Abba, Kishehein shaman. Oh, here's an interesting question. When you make the evaluation, Bishaloihein shaman, do we evaluate it according to his land? He lives in California. He has property in Hancock Park, and he has property in Beverly Hills. The property in Beverly Hills is idios to idios. So do we say he has to pay from his idios? Or what's considered superior in the world? Even property in Hancock Park is superior. You have property in Borough Park, and you also have property next to the Kaisel. You know, but property in Borough Park is hideous, but your property next to the Kaisel is hideous to hideous. Right? So the Gemara says, Ali, but Rabbi Yishmael, according to Rabbi Yishmael, it's not a shayla. Like Tibaylach, because the Pasuk says clearly it's the Nizik. Dharma but the Nizik Shaimina. So that means that we do it according to the property of the victim. Ki Tibaylach, Ali, but Rabbi Kiva, Dharma but the Mazik Shaimina. Now, my meitiv sadeo amarachmana. When it says meitiv sadeo, does it mean lemu'ute denizik? Does it come just to include the best property of the victim? So he has to give his best property and not the best property of the victim, because the best property of the victim might be only equal to his ziburius. Or it's coming to exclude that he doesn't have to give the best, that it's not enough to give the best of what's considered quality real estate in the world, but he has to give of what is his quality real estate. His quality real estate, he has Borough Park, which is, $1 million for 100 by 60, or does he have to give his property near the Kaisel, which is $3 million 100 by 60? Right? So Amalei, so he says, Rachmana Amar Meitiv Sadehu, the best of his field, V'at Amrit B'Shel Olam Ein Shaman, and you say that we calculate according to what's the norm of the world? No. He has to give what his best is. And if his best is by the Kaisel, so that's what he has to give. So the Gemara says, oh yeah? Eisvei, ein lo yela idius. Let's say, in this case, Rich, he damaged, he owes, and there's a ksuva, right? So it's only fictitious case. Ein loy ela idius. If he only has the best property, then kulam goyvim an idius. Everybody collects from idius. The one he damaged, the bal chayv, and the ksuva. Beininus. If all he has is beininus, then kulam goyvim beininus. Ziburius. If all he has is ziburius, inferior, kulam goyvim ziburius. Now, the plot thickens. Hoyu loy idius ubeininus v'ziburius. Now, this is the classic case. Hoyu loy idius beininus v'ziburius. If he has quality intermediate and inferior, so nizakim beidius, damages collect from idius. Bal chayv, the creditor, collects from beininus. Uksuvas isha b'ziburius, and the ksuvas isha is from ziburius. That's simple. That's the way it's supposed to be. But now what happens if Rich only has two of the three? Idius ubeininus. He has superior and intermediate. Nizokin be'idius, the one who did the damage collects from, the one he damaged collects from idius, and bal chayv ksuvas isha, and both the creditor and the ksuvas isha collect from beininus, which also makes sense, right? Because the damage is from idius, which it's supposed to be. The bal chayv is from beininus, which it's supposed to be. Somebody's phone is going off. And the ksuvas isha, he doesn't have ziburius, so that's also from beininus. What if he has beininus v'ziburius? So nizakin of bal chayv, the one we damaged in the bal chayv, collects from beininus. Uksuvas isha, and the ksuvas isha is from the ziburius. Okay, this is all eminently not logical. Now, idius v'ziburius. Let's say Rich only has idius and ziburius. So nizakin be'idius, the damage gets from idius. We push the bal chayv towards the ziburius together with the isha. Or bal chayv ksuvas isha b'ziburius. Okay, now what's going to be our question over here? So says the Gemara, Katani Mia, it says in the Mitzia, in the middle case, that if Rich has beininus and ziburius, mediocre and ziburius, so nizakin or bal chayv bebeininus, the nizakin and the bal chayv collect from beininus, uksuvas isha beziburius, and the ksuvas isha collects from ziburius. Now the Gemara says, if we go according to the standard of what Rich has, so if Rich only has beininus and ziburius, then his beininus is idius, is his idius. And if it's his idius, so the nizakin should collect from the idius, and the bal chayv and the isha should be pushed to the ziburius. We said if he has beininus and ziburius, the nizakin, the one he damaged, and the creditor collects from the beininus, and the woman collects from the ziburius. But why? We look at his karka, then he only has two types. So tas of beininus shaloike idius, his intermediate should be considered like his superior real estate. And therefore, v'yidacha bal chayv, and the bal chayv should be pushed etzel ziburius. It should be pushed to the inferior, because he only has two types, idius and ziburius, and the bal chayv should be pushed then to the ziburius. Why do we say that the bal chayv takes also from the beininus? Says Gemara, very good question. But hacha b'mayaskinan, that at the time of collection, Rich had idius. Kigain shahai saloi idius umachra. and it got sold. And the din is that you cannot collect from mortgage property while he has b'nei chayim, while he has available property. But since at the time of the loan he had superior land, the one who gave him the loan had a lien already on his baininess, because at the time Rich had idios. He had idios umachara, and he sold it. But at the time of the loan, therefore, the one who he owed money to, Stephen, had already a lien on his baininess, because he had idios at the time of the loan. So he had a lien on it. And that's why now, even though you would rightfully say that since Rich only has baininess and ziburius, we should look at that baininess as his idios, but Rich already, Stephen already had a lien on it, and that's why he collects it. The Chaynam Rav Chisda says Pshat has to be that he had superior property and he sold it, and Hachinami Mistavra, because otherwise there would be an internal contradiction. Midiktani Achrite, we learned elsewhere Baininus Viziburius. I mean, we learned in another Bava Baininus Viziburius. If he only has Baininus and Ziburius, Nizokin bebaininus. Only the nizakin take from the baininus. So you're right. Now we're saying that if he only has baininus and ziburis, we view the baininus as idios, and only the nizakin get the baininus, and the balchayv gets from ziburis. So that's different than we said in the middle part. So kashina adadi. So this latter case has to be talking about where he didn't have idios in the beginning. So where he had idios and he sold it, then the Baal Chayv Stephen already had a lien on the baininus. If he didn't have idios and sell it, so then the baininus is viewed as Rich's idios, and only the nizakin gets that, while the Baal Chayv and the Ksuvas Isha collect from the ziburius. Okay, now I said I was going to do the for the Shabbos table, but I think it's only fair that I should do the Mishnayos first, because some people are always want to stay for the Mishnayos.